I want to ask our final speaker, last but not least. We have yet another wonderful yoga practitioner with us this evening. She was born in India, introduced to yoga when she was very little by her parents. As she grew up, yoga grew on her. That's not surprising, is it? She had a unique privilege of being associated with some great yogis, saints, and social reformers in her lifetime. After doing her Bachelor of Science, she got her Master's Diploma in Fashion Design and followed that up with the Master's in Business Administration. While pursuing her studies, yoga was a continuous influence, and it was a logical progression that she took up yoga full-time as a practitioner and teacher. She believes yoga is a journey, and one always remains a student. A principle she tries to keep some time aside every year so that she can get tutored on yoga through various yoga masters. Along with her yoga practice, she's an active member of HSS. That's a volunteer-based organization which believes in Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. I'm hoping I'm pronouncing this properly. My Sanskrit is not good, I'm just trying. Which means whole world is a family. And she will hopefully pronounce it a lot nicer and in the appropriate way than I do. The aim of this organization is to foster positive engagement across various constituents of society based on deep yogic principles and philosophy. She's an active member of its women's wing, whose main focus is to encourage, enable, and empower women to play their rightful role in development and society, to really become empowered women and people. Spirituality has been a huge impact on her life, and she believes changing oneself is the first step to change the whole world. So without further ado, I'd like to invite Deepali Sharma to take the floor. Deepali.
Adharaniya Pilot Babaji, Yoga Mataji, distinguished guests, and all my friends, Namaste. Let me start by telling you a small story. There is a city in India called Nasik, and a family of 4 used to live there. Parents and their 2 kids. The boy was 4 and the girl was 7. When they got up in the morning, they had a routine. They would go out on the field, run for a few laps, come back inside, do some yogasanas, do some sun salutations, and then sit in meditation in lotus posture with spine erect and try to go deeper and deeper every day. In the end, they learned to chant Om. When they would open their eyes, there would be a glass of milk in front of them. Younger one even thought that the milk appeared because of his meditation. Obviously, he was not that great a yogi yet. Their mother would come and very quietly put the glasses in front of them. I am the girl in the story, and these are my first memories of getting introduced to yoga. I was blessed because many saints and yogis would visit our home and we would visit them. Growing up, something significant happened for me when I was in my 10th grade. Our parents decided to take us to Kumbh Mela. It is a fair, and that was for a month. So it is a fair that is held every 12 years in 4 different cities of India. Millions of Hindus come to the fair, and all saints and yogis come to the Kumbh Mela and set up their camp to impart their teachings. Our father made a daily timeline for me and my brother. So we would get up at 3:30 in the morning, go to a Dhyana Yoga class, then go to a Kriya Yoga class, then attend some session on Bhakti, and so on and so forth. So whole day for a month, we were getting exposed and learning about yoga and spirituality. There is an incident that I very distinctly remember. So when we would go for our Dhyana Yoga class, there was a saint living in the same camp. And I knew him from before, and I had heard him on different topics. And I knew him to be a very great spiritual master. So one day after our Dhyana Yoga, we went to meet him and we were talking to him. I was looking at him. And I was 14 or 15. So it is such a beautiful age of ignorance that you feel that you know everything, but you hardly know anything. So I was looking at him, and this saint, he was more than 250 pounds, not very tall. He had very long hair, which he would tie into a roll into a giant bun on his head. And he had a huge belly. I was looking at him and thinking in my mind, oh, I know him to be a great spiritual master, but I'm sure he cannot do the yogasanas that I'm learning now. It is said that great saints can read your mind. He did not say anything, but when we were leaving, he casually mentioned to my father that, oh, I need something. Can you get it for me next morning? Next morning when we reached there, this saint, his name was Ramayani Babaji, was in Shirshasana, headstand. His legs were crossed into a lotus posture, and he was swinging his body back and forth. It was such a huge eye-opener for me. I learned that I should never judge a person by their physical appearance. Physicality does not matter. Anybody and everybody has the potential to be a great yogi. It's not about the external, it's about the internal. And I also learned about the humility of great saints. From our Dhyana Yoga class, we used to go to our Kriya Yoga class. And Kriya Yoga was something that I really enjoyed. We would do some Kriyas and then sit in meditation. Something interesting I would like to share, that the saint I was learning Kriya Yoga from in the fair more than 25 years ago was none other than Pilot Babaji. There were two major attractions when I went to learn Kriya Yoga. First, I liked Kriya Yoga. And second, there was a female saint who was going to do a public samadhi. I was a teenager and my curiosity was sky high. Especially if you have read about these things like samadhi previously, it was such a wondrous and exciting feeling for me that I was going to witness someone do it in front of my eyes. And as you must have, and I was blessed actually to see that saint go into samadhi, and that saint was none other than Yoga Mataji. After all these experiences in different Kumbh Melas, getting to know about yoga, learn about yoga, and meeting all these saints and yogis, yoga became an inseparable part of my life. Whenever there have been dark times, it is either in meditation that I find solace, or since that age I have had two books as my bedtime companions, Autobiography of a Yogi and Towards the Silver Crests of Himalayas. Whenever in turmoil, either I go into meditation or open one of these books and they guide me in one way or the other. I wanted to share a small part of my journey because I feel it is very important that we get exposed to this path as early as possible. And I'm grateful to my parents because they were the ones who introduced me to yoga at such an early age. And it literally changed the path of my life. I also wanted to share this because of an incident that happened few months back. I'm part of an organization called HSS, and it is a family-oriented organization. So I get to work with kids a lot. So few months back, I was taking a yoga session with around 25 kids. They were in the age group of 4 to 16. I wanted to gauge where they are in their personal life. So I started asking questions if they were facing any anger issues or if they were experiencing any jealousy. I would ask a question and 2 or 3 hands would go up. Somehow randomly I asked, how many of you feel stressed out in your life? And all 25 hands went up. I was shocked. It was shocking that how could a 4 or 6-year-old even know the meaning of stress, forget about experiencing it. But if we look around us, that is the reality of our world today. Stress is playing havoc on us. Our minds are busy all the time. We are running after one thing or the other. I do not even want to get into the stories that we keep hearing on the news. And it's same for the kids. They have school, they have classes, they have sports, maybe some other complications at home. And obviously, they have, and I should say all of us have, our screens. Where is the time to calm down? Patanjali says, since we do not have time to calm down, this is where actually yoga comes into picture. Patanjali says, Yoga Chitta Vritti Nirodha. Yoga is a technique to control and calm down your mind. If we could only do that, how many problems would be automatically solved? There is a very nice incident narrated in Autobiography of a Yogi. So Yogananji, he is sitting in front of his guru, and his guru is explaining something to him. Yogananji is listening with full concentration, and there comes a mosquito and sits on his thigh and bites him. Yogananji raises his hand to kill the mosquito, but stops because he suddenly remembers Patanjali's aphorism on ahimsa, non-violence. His guru asks him, why did you stop? And he answers, Guruji, do you advocate taking the life? And so his guru says, no, but you already killed that mosquito in your mind. Yogananji is confused. And then his guru explains that what Patanjali means by ahimsa or non-violence is having such control on your mind that there is no desire to hurt anything. No desire to hurt anything. Just imagine the transformation that can happen in society if our thought process changed to that level. There is a saying in Hindu philosophy, which Denise mentioned, Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. Whole world is one family. If our thought process changes and we start believing whole world as our family, what will happen? If we start believing whole world as our family, that change will be amazing. And this change can be very effectively brought about by women. Since childhood, I have been part of a women's organization called Rashtra Sevika Samiti. There I learned that a women's role in society should be as leaders and agents of positive social reform. I also learned that there are 3 qualities naturally inherent in women: universal motherhood, making efficiency and social activism part of her life, and being a fearless leader who knows that it is her duty to protect the society from any ills it is facing today. There is a Sanskrit saying, Yatra naryastu pujyante, tatra ramante devata. Wherever women are worshipped, divine beings reside there. By worship, here it is meant that wherever women have a central role to play, good qualities naturally come around. Good qualities naturally come around. Why is it said like that? It is said like that because women by nature is the creator, she is the integrator, and she is full of love, be it for her family, extended family, or for society around her. I believe as a woman, nature has endowed us with a very special responsibility, and that is to spread love and compassion in the ecosystem around us. And I believe that yoga is a very strong tool to accelerate that process. Yoga is a very strong tool to accelerate that process. And in the end, when we are sitting here discussing a topic like this, especially in a UN summit, I feel it is very important that we follow it up with some action. At a personal level, these are the humble endeavors that I would like to take. First, continue being a very good student of yoga because it is a lifelong learning process. And I strongly believe that changing yourself is the first step in changing the world. Second, continue to take the teachings and techniques of yoga to people around me at a personal level and also through the organization that I am part of with special focus on kids because they are our future. And I would like to request everyone present here to make a small personal and social commitment to bring that change in the society around us and bring culture of peace wherever we are. Namaste.
How many of you knew that we were going to have a witness to the Samadhi? I mean, isn't this just amazing how divine guidance works to bring Deepali, with her life experience, to talk about Pilot Baba and Yog Mata? I mean, it really is just incredible how things can happen so that we can really hear from someone who personally experienced that. So thank you for sharing those stories, those personal stories, and from sharing your heart with us. Your passion to create a better world, and how yoga is a way of life, and how it really has made a difference.
You have to clarify that it was not staged.
Yeah, this was not staged, by the way. I found this out after Deepali had confirmed that she would be a speaker, and we just happened to be speaking, and she said, "Oh, by the way," and I said, "What, really? Oh, please, do you mind sharing that?" So I'm so grateful that she shared that with everybody, and that she spoke about how she witnessed Yog Mata and received those blessings at that time in her life.